And if you don't know, now you know. Let's get into it. Welcome back to House Rich, the first time homebuyer show where we help millennials figure out where do I get started in real estate and how to build generational wealth. Today's topic is how to find down payment assistance in your area. So, a lot of folks talk about, why don't banks have this or that available to you? They actually probably do. You just haven't looked for it or even tried to look for it. And I'm going to show you how to do it. So, today's intro was sponsored by Bed-Stuy philosopher Christopher Wallace. Let's get into the topic. Yeah, I remember when Bank of America came out with their 0% down program targeted minority communities, way back like a month or so ago. One of the wildest reactions to me to that program was a crowd that was like, why didn't they release this program a long time ago? Why did they wait till rates got high and the market's going up to release this program? I'm like, well, all I'm hearing you say is that you weren't going to buy real estate in the past. You didn't buy any real estate in the past. And you're looking for an excuse for why you didn't buy it in the past. You're not going to buy it in the present because you're wondering about a program that came out just now. And honestly, not going to buy any real estate in the future. See your track record. My simultaneous or number two reaction was they actually did have a program out and they had it out pre-COVID. So I know they've had it out at least 3 years. And so I've talked about this program. I'll go over it very high level if this is your first time hearing the sound of my voice. But they had a loan program that offers up to $17,500 towards your closing costs. But I knew that because I was a lender. And so folks will sometimes bring you competing offers because lenders can match an offer if they really want to go with you. So a lender or sometimes customers will bring you offers from a competing lender that has a better offer on paper, but they like you better. And I remember one of these programs was Bank of America. And I would just tell the man, like, at the lender I'm at, we cannot match $17,500 towards your closing costs. So I mean, if you want to go with me, I get you as close as we can, but honestly, we can't beat that offer. And so once again, I knew that from being in the industry, but I know a lot of times folks don't know where to look, or honestly, they don't even try to find out where to look as far as looking for some of these programs. So I'm going to break down where you can find pretty much every down payment assistance program throughout this episode. So the first place we're going to go to is, and if you're listening on the podcast, I'm going to talk you through this as well. It's a little visual, but listening is cool for this episode. www.hud.gov /topic/rental_assistance /local. And I'll put this address in the description as well. It'll take you to a website that has a list of all 50 states plus the District of Columbia. I assume it's all 50. I've actually not done the count. Oh, Puerto Rico's in the mix as well. So, and for the purpose of this evolution, I'm going to click on what the locals refer to as the great state of Texas. So click. And so it takes you to this website where it has some overall information on Texas, and it actually has a lot of useful information, whether you're actually renting or owning. And so there's a spot for HUD sales. I'll get into that a little bit later because there's like $1 homes in there. Help with your apartment search. It helps for stuff if you're a landlord, foreclosure help, multifamily housing. And for this topic, we're going to talk about home buying programs. So click. We're going to click on that. And so what it'll bring you to is this screen where it talks about home ownership assistance in Texas. And once again, this is for any state. We're just focusing on Texas. And so it talks about the Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs. It talks about home buyer programs, including down payment assistance and closing costs. So you click on that for more information. It goes over Habitat for Humanity. They're another organization that will actually build homes for you in certain areas, not just anywhere. It talks about the USDA loan right here. It talks about the Veteran Land Board Housing Assistance Program as well, which is not the VA loan, but it's similar to the VA loan in the way it's able to help veterans. And what we know here in Texas as the TSHAC, basically right here, Texas State Affordable Housing Corporation. That's a down payment assistance program local here to Texas, obviously. And also, if you scroll down, it actually breaks down the down payment assistance programs by city, so you can kind of focus on your city. But I say just try to focus on the big picture. But I actually do whatever you want to do. And it also breaks it down by county in Texas as well. And obviously, there are more than 3 counties in Texas, so every county does not have a program as well. And I say try to focus on the big picture because if you like click on Dallas, and so I clicked on the city of Dallas, you got to go through like a lot of weeds. So I mean, it depends how thorough you want to look through this website to find what you're looking for. But there are some like specific down payment assistance programs for Dallas as well that are pretty lucrative. But you got to kind of dig through these city sites because the city sites are just the city sites. You got to actually dig through to find the housing part of that. And so let's go to like a county site. So Travis County is like in the Austin area, Austin, the capital of Texas. And so this has a breakdown of the stuff that can help you in Travis County, which is once again the county that has Austin, the capital of Texas. And so once again, it's a lot of stuff, not just for home buying assistance, but once again, if you're unfortunately facing foreclosure, housing counseling, housing rehabilitation, and so forth. Stuff for tenants, landlords. So it's a lot of information there. So it just depends on what you want to actually, focus on. And so I mentioned this is something I stumbled across when I was maybe I'll do an episode on this, but it was a site for dollar homes, right? And so if you click on that, it takes you to this dollar home site. But apparently there's like foreclosed homes that are available to be bought for $1. I mean, they're probably not in the the nicest area. I mean, you're not going to find one like in you're not going to find one probably in a nice area. Who knows? You may want to search throughout this website to see what's available to you. But there's actually dollar homes apparently on the HUD website as well. So that's a quick way to get an overall idea of what down payment assistance is available in your local jurisdiction, right? So the second place to find down payment assistance program is to imagine having your loan canceled 2 weeks before closing. Well, that happened to my wife and I on this home back here. Luckily, I had a great realtor who smoothed things out with the seller, found me a better lender, and we closed only a week later. Realtors matter, but how do you know if it's a good realtor or a bad realtor? Well, we'll help you cut through some of the fog with our realtor and lender referral network. So let us know where you're looking and we'll send you a list of pre-vetted realtors, no cost to you, to help take a little bit of stress out of the biggest financial decision of your life. To execute on or is to look up banks that have that are part of like the Community Reinvestment Act, right? So just a quick recap, Community Reinvestment Act, right? So we know there is a history of the government, like literally on paper, or maybe breaking news to you, on paper discriminated against minorities, like literally not giving them loans. And it was the FHA was the actual government organization that would not lend to minorities strictly due to them being minorities in a certain area because they were unsafe loans. And so that's kind of like the quick overview of like redlining, right? And so the Community Reinvestment Act was put into place to hopefully help make up for some of the transgressions that lenders did in the past. So just going to read this real quick. The Community Reinvestment Act, CRA, so you may hear folks refer to it as CRA, enacted in 1977, requires the Federal Reserve and other federal bank regulators to encourage financial institutions to help meet the credit needs of the communities in which they do business, including low and moderate income neighborhoods, right? And so another quick blurb on the CRA. CRA applies to FDIC insured depository institutions such as national banks, savings associations, and state chartered commercial and saving banks. CRA does not apply to credit unions insured by the National Credit Union, Shared Institution Fund, or non-banks under the lending test. Qualified investments are oh my goodness. Oh, let me stop this. Pause. The CRA applies to, excuse me. The CRA applies to FDIC insured depository institutions such as national banks, savings associations, and state chartered commercial and saving banks. CRA does not apply to credit unions insured by the National Credit Union, Share Insurance Fund, or non-bank entities supervised by the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. So that's kind of a quick overview of what the Community Reinvestment Act is. Why is that important to you? Is because a lot of banks have down payment assistance programs as part of their Community Reinvestment Act. And so you just got to ask the banks if they have these programs available. So once again, Bank of America had their program out for the longest time. Folks just found out about it because they kind of repackaged it as a 0% down loan program. I know Wells Fargo has it. I know Chase has it. I know there are a bunch of banks that have it. I just know those banks that I'm aware of Bank of America and I've worked for Chase and Wells Fargo. That's why I know that those institutions have those programs. So if you're talking to a lender, literally just ask them if they have the program as part of their if it's part of their Community Reinvestment Act, and they'll say yes or they'll say no. And if you want to just look up banks that are in your area and see if they have it or not, you can go to a couple websites. So I found this mass.gov website, which has a list of banks right here, and it actually rates them, S being satisfactory, and then there's other grades as well. So you know that, hey, if you're in Massachusetts, Academy Mortgage Corporation is participating in the Community Reinvestment Act. And if they have a satisfactory rating, chances are they may have a down payment assistance program as part of their Community Reinvestment Act. They may or they may not, but these are lenders in your area that you can look up. Here's another cool website. So there's one, I just came across this one for Atlanta. And here, right here, the Federal Financial Institution Examinations Council, they have an actual website where you can put in like any bank, or you can put in your city, you can put in your state or any bank and find out who is participating in the Community Reinvestment Act and what their actual grade is. And so the higher their grade is, the more likely they probably have some sort of down payment assistance available for you. And so if you go in here, like, so I originally typed in Dallas, but it will only actually give you a match up to like 250 records. So you have to actually, if you're in a big city, you probably have to be a little bit more focused, and we want to focus on certain lenders and like put in their name. But if you're like in a smaller city, let's try a smaller city, Denton, Texas. See what you got going on here. And so I put in like Denton, Texas here, and so it lists a bunch of banks here in Denton, Texas, and it says, so just Jefferson Heritage Bank, you need to improve. But there's a bunch of other banks like Capital First FS of North Texas that have satisfactory ratings. So chances are they may have down payment assistance programs as part of their Community Reinvestment Act. So literally, you can look them up yourself, or literally just ask the bank. So that's part two. It's just ask the bank, what do you have available to you? And so they should be able to tell you. And then last but not least is the most basic way to find out down payment assistance program is my buddy Google. So literally just type in down payment assistance program in your city and you'll be surprised at what comes up. So I typed in Dallas, right? And so you want to pay attention to like the .org stuff, and you want to pay attention to like the .orgs, not like these ads and all that. Well, you can look at the other ones, but take it with a grain of salt. So this actually Dallas City Hall has a program. So there, once again, here goes T-Shack, what I mentioned when we pulled it up on the HUD website. Down payment assistance programs, home loan counseling agency, Texas homeowner assistance HUD. Basically, there. If you listen to the podcast, there's basically a whole page full of down payment assistance programs in Dallas, and so you can easily do that in your local jurisdiction as well to find out what is available to you. But yeah, you just got to put some effort into it. It's not going to be super easy to find every single one, but if you're interested in it, put in the effort and look it up. So that's today's episode. If you want to see another topic, join First Time Homebuyer School. Link will be in the description because I take a lot of these topics from suggestions from the community there. If you're looking for a realtor, hit me up as well. I have a realtor network so that you can find like some fully vetted realtors instead of trying to like guess on your own and figure out who's good. There's realtors and lenders, because I always got to give the example. You can find realtors and lenders on your own, but if you're interviewing like a 5, a 6, and a 7, that 7 is going to seem like a 10. You want to be interviewing like 8s, 9s, and 10s, so you can kind of figure out who's who in the zoo, as they say. And that is all I got for this week's episode. Buy land. Rumor has it they're not making any more of it. Thanks. Thank you for listening to the show. If you want to connect with other listeners and also dive deeper into topics, as well as attend live trainings every Tuesday at 8 p.m., click the link down below and join the First Time Homebuyer School. See you inside.